Oh, okay.
Oh, I got
Hello,
I never got that
everyone.
far.
This is
Oh,
Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast. And this is going to be a nice little general chat on entertainment this evening, talking about movies or video games or books, whatever we've read or consumed or viewed recently. And this is a pre-recorded video for everyone out there who's watching this. I might actually premiere this on my channel and maybe hang around the chat, but just be aware that this is pre-recorded. And I have two special guests tonight. I got Ray from Eiga-Man Ray. How you doing, Ray?
All right, it's been a long time, another long time. I've had like these like 2 or 3 month period hiatuses, like periodically over the past year for good reason, which I can get into. But yeah, it feels good to be chatting up.
Yeah. And I got Corrie. How are you doing, Corrie? How's it going?
cheers. I'm well, gentlemen. Yourselves? I'm very good. It's
We're pretty good.
yeah, I can't complain. I'm doing fine. Just come out of lockdown. Again, we still have to wear masks, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Ray, you're kind of in a similar position, aren't you? I'm waiting for you guys to get on track because I want to see Bandmate again live, and it can't happen until you guys get this under control.
They're slowly rolling it out. I think the way they're doing it is like from what I understand, they're doing the rollouts of the vaccines via your job industry or something like that.
Mm.
Like certain industries are getting are in different stages of the rollouts. I'm not sure exactly when people of my industry or my specific profession are eligible, but I know a few people in my company have already reserved their, or like one of my coworkers getting their first shot tomorrow. But so I'm assuming we're pretty close, but it's all kind of a luck of the lottery right now, I
Yeah.
guess. Like it's not like I'm not sure how accessible it was in the States or even Australia, but it's still rolling out pretty slow over here, but we're coming along. We're coming along. So
All right. Well, let's talk about some entertainment and fun here. So Corey, just tee it off, man. Talk about whatever you want.
Whatever I want. I've been working on a movie.
Yeah.
I've got some shameless self-promotion happening here if you guys can't see. This is the name of the film I'm working on at the moment. So it's a indie by choice, an independent Australian horror film, which some might label Ozploitation. For those of you who don't know what Ozploitation is, it's, I guess, B-grade Australian movies that Quentin Tarantino is obsessed with. He's he seems to be the guy that knows all about Ozploitation cinema. Um, so I'm actually in the movie. I'm not allowed to really give away any more than that, otherwise I'll get into trouble. But the movie's uh, basically about a rock band. It's set in the 90s. It's loosely based on a true story, a story that happened to me actually, not in the 90s because I was too young then. I was a kid, but um, it's the band that's rehearsing for a big gig. Um, they've got a new guitarist that's joined the band. Something goes a bit pear-shaped, and they all start uh, getting massacred
Nice.
in a recording studio, or the rehearsal studio that they're in. There's a lot of we've tried to make it. It's I think we're up to like the seventh draft of the script because we just keep adding things, and it's kind of evolved over the process since we started like 6 months ago putting this thing together. Um, we're trying to do the Ozploitation thing, but we're trying to elevate it a bit more because it's kind of we've got like slasher elements in the movie, but we also everyone that's involved is kind of a fan of like the A24 style
Mm.
of movie. So we're trying to, even though this thing's micro budget, we're trying to do an Ozploitation A24 film, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. We'll see how it goes, but it's been interesting putting this thing together. We've got a great group of people, great cast. Everyone that's involved is fantastic. We're trying to do what Hollywood pats themselves on the back for. all the time when they say we've got a diverse cast and we've got people from the LGBT community and we've got this happening and this happening. We're actually doing that. So yeah, I'm excited. We're about a month and a bit out from shooting. So I can't really say much more than that. That's all I'm allowed to say, really. I wish I could tell you guys more.
Well, it's you can always come back when the trailer comes out or when the movie comes out.
Yeah,
We could discuss
definitely.
it, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, be great. Well, you guys will get to see it before everyone else. So.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
And I gotta be honest. You know how I am. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh man,
baby.
if you think it's shit, tell me it's shit. I don't care.
Yeah. So Ray, what have you been up to? Have you seen anything? Read anything? What's going on?
Well, it's been a mix of, well, I don't really read much recently, mainly because well, my current job, which I just started a little under a year ago, is video game translation from Japanese to English. So I've been mostly playing games. So that's what I've been mostly been doing. Change of profession kind of has like you get the change of environment, change of people that surround you, and everyone's talking about games. And it's like it kind of helps with kind of helps with the job too, because I'll play games which were localized from Japanese to English for research purposes, I guess, just to kind of like, because I translate everything from character dialogue to even like marketing copies to even weapon names and monster names. It's kind of like how to like, because you have all sorts of limitations, like you're only allowed a certain number of characters in certain situations, and you have to make your writing has to be like, if anything, something that's just equally as important as Japanese level is creative writing. And my creative writing sucked at the beginning of this job. Like I had no idea how much it sucked. Like I thought I was pretty set considering all the movies that I had consumed over the years, but there was definitely, depending on the direction of the game, there was different styles to be adopted when writing these characters. So I had to put myself through the ringer and basically play all these different games, not only for my own entertainment, but also to kind of study how these localization teams crafted these characters' dialogues, or from Japanese to English, and then also maintain that consistency throughout the game. And yeah, that's mostly like probably 80% of what I've been doing. I've caught a few films here and there, like at the theaters keep opening and closing and then reopening again because of the pandemic. The latest movies I've seen were the Rurouni Kenshin movies, the final, which you've seen, and then also the beginning, which just came out the beginning of June. I finally caught it like last weekend.
I'm so jealous, Ray, that you get to watch those in a theater.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I mean, just watching movies in the cinema again. Like for a while, like theaters were like they were closed, then they opened. Then when we got into another, so I'm trying to keep my voice down because my daughter's asleep right now. But in our most recent state of emergency, every theater, all in the general Tokyo area, their last showings were around 6:00 p.m. Like, so that way everyone could get out of the theater by 8 or 9. And my usual work day finishes at 7. And that's pretty much the best time I can even watch a movie, like after 7 or 8 o'clock on any given day, really. And so I just gonna watch movies for about a good 2 months, 2 or 3 months in theaters. So, but now it's back to regular again. I guess back to business as usual. I guess that they think that everything is being more contained a lot, or rather, everything's going. What's the word? Being controlled a lot easier, a lot better. So thanks to that, I was able to watch the most recent Rurouni Kenshin movie. So it was fun.
Hey Corrie, have you had a chance to see the final yet?
I haven't, because I'm not watching it on Netflix. I refuse.
Oh yeah.
I haven't got anything against Netflix, but it's weird to me because my experience of that trilogy, the first 3 films, I put them up there like I liked Star Wars as a kid, but I would never consider myself like a massive Star Wars person. I was always more Star Trek, but you know, people like love the original Star Wars trilogy. I love the original Rurouni Kenshin trilogy. And I saw those at the Japanese Film Festival.
Mhm.
They screened when the second and third one came out, because they came out like back to back, like the fourth and fifth one have. Um, what they did was they played all three like over 3 consecutive days at the theater and here in Brisbane. So I went to that 3 days in a row, and I've got the Blu-ray box set of all three. And the fact that they've not played in the cinema here and they're just on Netflix, it makes me just, I don't know, a little bit sad, because I
Mhm.
kind of want to see them in the theater. There's something about that Netflix logo coming up going, I don't know, watching it at home, even though I've literally got a home theater set up that's really great, but it's, I don't know. I think I'll buy, if I have to watch it, I will buy it on Blu-ray. But then I worry, because you know, with Netflix, and you guys will know this. You probably know this, Eric. With, you know, movies like The Night Comes for Us, you can't get a physic that doesn't exist in physical media. It's
No.
like, I've got Headshot and I've got Killers. You know, I've got those movies sitting on my shelf, and it's like, well, I want that on Blu-ray as well. And Netflix do this all the time. They're very random with the things that they release on physical media, and I just worry that because they've bought those films, the final and the beginning, maybe we won't get physical copies of them. I
Yeah.
mean, they'd be stupid not to release them physically, but I don't know. I don't know. I do want to watch it, but unfortunately, I watched Dynasty Warriors instead.
Oh man, I'm avoiding
And
that like
I
a
did.
plague.
I didn't watch that on Netflix. Um, I got. I still get sent screeners for things. People just forget that I don't do YouTube anymore, and then I just get like um the email. And then, you know how, if you guys have had screeners before, like online screeners where you get the link and then you just put the code in. So I was like, I got the screener for that. I didn't watch all of it because I couldn't, because I wanted to kill myself after about 20 minutes, because it's a giant pile of shit. Like Lewis Koo's a lovely guy. He's a nice guy. Um, but man, sorry Lewis, that movie was shit. And I
Well,
like those games. I liked playing those games back in the day. I haven't played one in probably 10 years, but
hmm.
you know, yeah, just bad, 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 bad.
Well, I recently saw a good movie that is it might be at least slightly relevant to your movie situation. It's called
Mm.
it's from our good friend Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And
Ah,
he did a film called To the Ends of the Earth from 2019. Just came out on physical media in the US. It's about this girl, Japanese girl, who does like a travelogue program for television. She goes to Uzbekistan to shoot a
oh,
travelogue, and the film has like two main themes. You got the trying to maintain a nice persona on camera when everything behind camera is a complete mess in a craft show. So there's that aspect to it, for the production just being such a total wreck. And then the other aspect is like the anxiety of going to a foreign country with a language barrier.
mm.
So I think the film does a good job in both of those, and I definitely recommend that one. That's one of his better ones in recent years.
Has it got like, because obviously he's famous for his thrillers. Is there any kind of a thriller aspect to the
There's a
movie?
sense of, there's a little bit of humor in it and a little bit of anxiety for being in the foreign
Right,
country. He taps that a little
Mm.
bit.
right. So it's not like another Cure or
No,
Creepy or
no,
Penance, his miniseries.
no. I would classify it as a drama.
Okay. Well, I did watch. Speaking of, I'm segueing into this. I watched a thriller recently. I watched the latest Saw film,
Oh no.
Spiral, the Book of Saw. I don't know why I watched that. It was just like, I'll watch it. It's there. Um, yeah, I love Chris Rock. I think he's one of the greatest living comedians, but he is not someone who should be playing a detective in a serious horror movie. It doesn't work. And you've got to really, I don't know, the fact that they have Samuel L. Jackson playing his dad. It's like that Last Crusade situation where you've got like Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, are meant to be father and son, but there's only like a 10-year age gap. It's the same thing with these two.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, Chris Rock's almost 60 years old. How can Samuel L. Jackson be? And I think he's meant to, I honestly think they don't mention his age. They go to great means to not mention Chris Rock's character's age in the film. But I think he's meant to be playing a 35-year-old. Now, he does look young. They've made him to look young. He still doesn't look 35, no matter what you do. But yeah, it was awful. A very bad film. I picked the twist within the first 5 minutes. So I was just like, this is what's going to happen in this. And it was, I watched it because the trailer kind of sold me a more of a Seven style movie rather than a Saw film. If you guys remember the trailer, it was very like, oh, okay, this might work. And Chris Rock was great. I've seen some of the stuff he did with Fargo, because he was in one of the series of, and he did some dramatic stuff there, and he was really good. Because a lot of comedians can do drama very well. We've seen that with people like Robin Williams, obviously, but yeah, this movie just didn't do it for me. It was bad.
I actually remember liking most of those, and then the first 10 minutes of the seventh film, I'm like, this is terrible. That's where it lost me. The first 10 minutes of the seventh film in the original series.
Yeah, like even the first one, if you rewatch it, you kind of like, this doesn't really hold up, almost what 20 years later. It's got to be almost 20 years old, that movie. But yeah, I think I stopped after about 4 or something like that. I just gave up.
Same here. I think I stopped around 3. I really enjoyed the first one. Second one was a bit more extreme, but then the third one, I don't know, it just felt like they were just trying to up each other, like up the previous movie, like as we went further. It's like I don't think I need this level of violence in my movies, but I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, I guess we're used to it because we watch like Miike films and stuff. But it's like,
yeah. I went back.
Yeah.
Like I would go back and watch some of those movies I would be scared to watch, circa 10, 15 years ago. Like for example, like Hostel or The Descent, and I'm like, man, this was it. It's like, I guess, I don't know, Miike and those other directors have just desensitized me to seeing that kind of content now. It's like, so I'll watch like The Green Inferno, like, oh, this, all those notoriously gory movies that people supposedly would pass out from watching, and I'm like, that's it. This is it. Hey, this is fun.
Have you seen Bone Tomahawk, Ray?
I have not yet. Admittedly,
oh, dude!
Oh my god! I've seen
problem
like,
with the
I've
problem
seen, like,
with Bone Tomahawk.
One,
yeah, the problem with Bone Tomahawk, Eric. Everyone tells people about that scene, and that scene is only effective if you don't know about that scene. And unfortunately, that scene has been uploaded on like YouTube and Dailymotion and all those things, and people that's got millions of views, and it's like, I honestly, like, it takes a lot, like, the three of us, we've watched a lot of weird fucking Japanese stuff and Korean stuff and whatnot, and it's like we've seen some weird shit, and it's like with Bone Tomahawk, I can honestly say I remember watching that, and this is when that came out. I think I bought the Blu-ray of it because it didn't even get a theatrical release here in Australia, and my housemates at the time came running out because I just went, holy shit, like I yelled that out, and I felt physically ill when that happened, and that doesn't happen very often when it comes to movies. But talking about Zala, I read his latest book, The Slanted Gutter. I actually recommend him as a novelist. I think he's a fantastic director, but I think he's an even better writer. Like I've read it's weird. All of his novels have been bought by people, like the rights. So he did A Congregation of Jackals, which is a Western. I think Ridley Scott owns the rights for that one. And then there's another one called Wraiths of the Broken Land that another director bought, and that's another Western. And then he did one called Mean Business, which is similar to probably what's the one he did with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn?
Dragged Across
Dragged
Concrete.
Across Concrete. Yeah, that's similar to that one. And Leonardo DiCaprio owns the rights to that one. And he just released another book called The Slanted Gutter, which is about a guy that owns a bunch of strip clubs. And it was fantastic. So I'm wondering who owns the rights to that one. Because it's weird, because this guy's written all these great novels, but he's never actually directed movies based on his novels. He's sold the rights off to other people who've not made anything. So still waiting for DiCaprio to make that Mean Business movie, actually.
I remember a few years ago, Park Chan-wook was going to do a movie with a Zoller script, wasn't he? I heard that on the download.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah.
I don't know if that fell through or not. I haven't heard anything about that, but.
Mm.
So Ray, what anything more from you? You got any, like, you could talk about the video games you played as well.
Yeah, man. What games have you played?
I've been all about Monster Hunter the past 3 months, man. I've just been playing.
Did you watch the movie?
I watched the movie, yes. And it is a burning, terrible.
Is it dumpster juice, Ray?
It's dumpster juice. And I'm not talking about like, okay, like, what's the director name? Paul W. Sanderson? Like, it's like, I feel like, what, he made the original Mortal Kombat adaptation, didn't he? Like,
yes, he did.
I think since then they just hand him like, all right, here's this video game adaptation. It's not Yui Bowl status yet, but like it's getting there. It's just big budget Yui Bowl at this point, because like I think like the Resident Evil series, like it took off on its own thing, and then I knew it was going to be doing the same thing when just seeing the trailers from Monster Hunter. It's like it's nothing. The stories in each of the games are really simple. It's not deep at all. You just go in there to hunt monsters. That's the main charm of the game. You make all these cool weapons and armor pieces from monster parts, and and you play it with your friends. That's like the charm of the game. The movie had a lot of liberties, took a lot of liberties in terms of like what the story is, like the whole alternate world thing and this whole like evil mind behind sending monsters to or going back and forth between the Earth and the other world. And even the way they portray these monsters, like the very first monster you meet in the first hour of the movie, he's trapped, or she's trapped in the desert, and it's like he acts like nothing like how he acts in the actual game. It's like, are they confusing like monsters here now? And yeah, like, and it's just this. I don't know. It really feels like his Resident Evil movies, where it's just all action. And it looks nice, the CG was great, but no respect for the source material at all. Like, and in the end, just everything just didn't make sense. It's like, why did Ron Perlman know how to speak English with a perfect American accent? It's like, because the whole Monster Hunter language is a real thing, like in the games. Like it's like a mix of Japanese and French, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, I can't remember how it was portrayed in the movie, but there is an actual Monster Hunter language. But then, to have Ron Perlman supposedly be a member of this world and then speak with a perfect American accent, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense that Tony Jaa saved Mia Jovovich and then try to kill her the next moment too. I don't know, like stuff like that. Like, yeah, it had some fun moments, but overall, it was like it didn't even do well in Japan. It was pretty bad.
Tony Jaa just taking paychecks, baby. He don't care anymore.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame him. I mean, he's in Hollywood. He gets that exposure. He gets that money. So, I mean,
I played a video game not that long ago on my Super
what is
Nintendo Entertainment System. It's called
nice?
The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I
Nice.
Probably
completed that again after like
one of
20
the
years of completing it the first time. That's a really good
one of
game.
one of the best in the series. Like probably in the top three, in my opinion. Like I just when is it? Probably over the winter holidays, I just completed Breath of the Wild on Switch, and that was an amazing one too. Like the Zelda game, like just in prep for um, the one that's supposed to be coming out next year, because it's getting all of this hype. But yeah, Link to the Past is definitely in my top three, but Breath of the Wild was really nice. So was the Nintendo 64 one, Ocarina of Time. Like those are like probably, I'm not sure which one I would order in, how my ranking would be in order, but those are definitely my top three Zeldas. I love yeah, Zelda's an amazing franchise.
Speaking of bad movies, I also saw a bad movie that Corey would appreciate
Mm.
because I think this Korean film makes The Closet look like a masterpiece.
Oh wow.
And that
Okay.
is The Cursed Lesson from 2020. Now, in 2009, Korea came out with this horror film called Yoga Institute about a group of women who go to like this obscure yoga place to stay beautiful. There's like this secret cult going on and like witchcraft or whatever. And I kind of like that movie. Well, this one is basically like a ripoff of that movie, even though it's from the same country. And I couldn't find like remake. I don't know. I don't think it's a remake. They just ripped it off themselves, and it is atrocious. It is so bad. There's just like random sex scenes thrown in just to like hold your attention. The acting's atrocious. The plot is just completely horrible, and it's like the constant like dream-based scares where it's like, oh, something's bad happening. Oh no, it's just a dream, and they do that like 15 times in the movie. So yeah, that's one. That's definitely the worst film I've seen all year.
Oh wow. I honestly can't remember the last Korean movie I watched, to be honest.
I think you
I've
might
been
like
watching.
Night in Paradise, maybe from the director of New World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Night in Paradise is pretty good. You might like that one.
Is that recent?
hmm It's one of those
Um,
Netflix things again. But
bloody Netflix, hey. I know this is. I can't complain. Like if once we finish this movie and Netflix goes, hey, we'll buy it from you. What am I going to say? No. Like it's not going to happen. Let's be. Is it another gangster type thing?
it's kind of, but also somewhat different. And
Right.
it's kind of hard to explain. And I thought it was pretty good.
Is he going to make a sequel to The Witch, or is that never happening?
I
Do
think
we
so.
know?
Yeah, I think it's in production now, maybe.
All right, because I actually enjoyed that a fair
I
bit. That
enjoyed
was
The
from
Witch. Yeah,
yeah. Hopefully we get the sequel at some point.
I didn't realize
Um,
sequels being made. Huh?
hmm
I
yeah,
was fine with The
it
Witch
was
being
it
made.
was yeah, it was like The Witch Part One Subversion or
Oh,
something.
that's
That was the
right.
actual
Yeah.
official title from memory.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, because I
I've been,
heard it
I've
was
been
like the rights
yeah.
got lost in limbo or something, right? Or something like the. I heard something like the whoever were the copyright holders, there was some kind of issue or something like
Hmm.
that. So
Right.
like they just held it off indefinitely or something. I don't know.
I hate when that happens when they make like a part one of a like trilogy, a planned trilogy or something, and then it just doesn't happen. It's so
Mm-hmm.
annoying, particularly when it's good, which most of the time they're not. Like we're never gonna get that dark universe that Universal wants.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done.
Yeah,
It's done.
they tried a few times, and it's like I think the best we got was the first time they tried it with the what was it, the Benicio del Toro Wolfman. I think that was meant to be the first one, and then they
I
tried
thought
it
it was
again with what was it? Dracula
Dracula.
Untold was the yeah. They tried it with
Yeah,
that one,
yeah.
and then that didn't work, and they tried it with the Mummy. Ugh. I've been watching a lot of well, I don't want to say obscure, but I don't know what you'd class these as. Ray, you probably have a good idea. Have you ever seen the movie Cyber Ninja from the 80s, the Japanese movie?
I have not actually. Is that more of like a what we would like you classify it as a tokusatsu movie where it's like guys in rubber suits? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like guys in
doing
suits
stunts.
and like sci-fi and almost like miniature models and stuff like that. I enjoyed that one. And then I watched another one. I had to write it down. Sakuya Slayer of Demons.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that one's great. I think the people that did the effects for that were the same people that did the 90s Gamera stuff.
Mm.
Because there's this like, I don't know if it's like a yokai monster, but it's like this giant cat thing. Do you know that sequence? And it's a really great animatronic, but it doesn't, unfortunately, it's only in the movie for like 2 minutes and then it disappears. And then I watched the original Yoko Monster trilogy. Because I think we've mentioned Miike before, but I think he's making another one, isn't
He
he?
is actually. Yep. It's
Yeah.
hold on. Give me a moment. I got the poster right here.
Oh, you've got a post. Oh, so it's like
This-
in post production or something at the moment, is it?
well, it's coming out like in August, I think.
All right.
Because like in the movie theaters here, they'll often have flyers, if you will. Like I'm pretty sure Erik has seen them before when he's went to the movie theaters over here. Well, basically, it's like little. I can't. Oh, maybe it's over here. Sorry, I'm like my desk's really scattered. Just
That's all
basically, they just have them out like for free, just like for anyone to grab, just because it just shows up
cool.
in the movies and stuff. Like, and it's all like the Japanese posters of like even American movies. Sometimes I'll grab like I got the Japanese flyer for like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
It just came out this weekend over here, just because it has Sanada and Asano. I'm not sure what I was doing. It's not ever mentioned in any top 5, 10 lists. I think because it's too adult for anyone to really watch. Hold on, I guess I didn't grab it. But anyways, yeah, it's coming out like in August or something like that. The Great Yokai War. I forgot what the subtitle is, but yeah, and it has.
Is it a sequel to the one from the
2005?
mid-2000s? Yeah.
I think it's a new set of characters. There are like none of the characters from the original are returning, but there are similar like yokai. And there's even some yokai that you wouldn't expect. Like, if you watch any of the trailers, like, do you guys know the tokusatsu series Daimajin? Like about the
yes,
giant?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He's in the movie for some reason.
All right.
Like if you watch the trailer, he's like one of the highlighting moments. Like,
dude, I get stoked for this movie now.
That's cool. I think Arrow Video just released that as a trilogy box set.
Yeah.
I've got it in my watch list at the moment. I love Arrow releases. I think they're amazing. But because they did the I mentioned Gamera earlier, they just released the Gamera movies on Blu-ray.
One of the best movies I've seen this year is a Canadian film from the son of David Cronenberg, and that's Possessor.
Yeah, I've seen Possessor.
I really like that one.
It's awesome, man. It's great.
Oh, I found it right here.
Hey, found it.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know if you can see it, but like,
nice.
It's a whole new like cast and everything too.
Oh yeah. Well, what's the actor? Eric probably knows off the top of his head.
The old one.
What's the actor who was in the
Ryunosuke Kamiki or something like that? Is that his name?
Yeah.
In the original one, he's probably 30 now.
Yeah,
So
he still looks like not day over 25 though. He's one of those baby faces.
Yeah, Possessor, man, that was a sweet flick. And I watched the. You gotta watch. Anybody who watches, you gotta watch the uncut version because it's.
Yes, definitely. Do not watch the theatrical version. Watch the uncut version.
Yeah, Ray, this movie's about like this. It's almost like a hit woman who works for a secret organization that uses like brain implant technology to like inhabit other people's minds and use their bodies to like kill people. And it's kind of like real psychological and dark and really violent. So I recommend that. What were your thoughts on it, Corey, outside of the...
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I actually really liked the previous. What was the other one? Antiviral, was it?
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
His previous film. I might be getting the name of it wrong off the top of my head, but Brandon Cronenberg's definitely his father's son. That's for sure. Yeah, I really liked it. It's got the I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The woman that played Mandy in the Nick
Andrea
Cage movie Mandy.
Riseborough.
Yeah, she was also in a movie with Alexander Skarsgård where they were living underneath like in a bunker. Fuck, what was the name of that movie? I don't remember it off the top of my head, but that was good. It's also got I'm trying to remember the guy's name off the top of my head. The guy from Piercing. Another Canadian film actually based on the Ryu Murakami book of the same name. Is it Christopher Abbott or something? He's
so.
in Possessor. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's ultra violent. There's some stuff in there that will mind fuck you. Again, it's clearly not a studio movie. So you can always tell when it's not a studio film. So I watched another kind of, I don't know if you guys have heard of Saint Maud.
Yes.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that. Saint Maud's a British film from a first-time director, and she did a great job with it. And it's, I guess they try to sell it as more of a psychological horror thing, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's clearly about, there's a lot of mental illness stuff going through there, but Saint Maud's probably, yeah, that and Possessor are probably the two best films I've watched in the last 6 months, because nothing else has really stuck with me. It's all just been like, yeah, I've not really been interested. That's the thing. I don't watch a lot of Hollywood mainstream movies. Like I could care less about whatever Marvel movies coming out.
That's where I'm at again. I'm at where I was in the late 2000s, where I'm just like, I see the list of movies coming out there, like the big time lists, and I'm like, well, I'll watch the next John Wick movie and the next Mission Impossible movie, but everything else, I'm just like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm back into, I'm rewatching a lot of stuff too now. Like I rewatched the Chinese Ghost Story trilogy. I was like, man,
nice.
I love them even more now than I used to. So I'm doing a lot of that now, or rewatching stuff that I haven't seen in like 15 years.
Yeah, I've been doing that too because, COVID and being in lockdown. Like I've been watching a lot of 50s sci-fi, like old school sci-fi and stuff that I think, the kind of stuff that they used to play on Mystery Science Theater and things like that. And there was one, I don't want to give away the title because I kind of want to remake it at some point because I think it's got potential to be another, speaking of Cronenberg, like David Cronenberg's The Fly or John Carpenter's The Thing. There's one particular like 50s B-grade horror movie that I think has a hell of a lot of potential. I rewatched it recently and I was just like, whoa, this is really good, but it's one of those movies that comes up in like so bad it's good lists and people mock it and stuff, and I'm like, there's a lot more going on here. Or it's one of those things where the film isn't great, but the concept is there and you could expand upon it. You could do what Cronenberg did with The Fly, or do what, like I said, Carpenter did with The Thing, and take this campy B-grade 50s movie and turn it into something really dark and horrifying. So who knows? Once we do this movie, we might do that one. I don't know. We probably need this movie to make money at some point to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's another thing I did recently is I went back and watched a ton of Hammer films.
Yeah.
And two of my favorites, I think, were Cash on Demand with Peter Cushing.
Nice. Well, they all had, most of them had Peter Cushing.
Yeah. It was like a suspense thriller about this bank manager who gets robbed basically secretly on site. Mm-hmm. And then the other one I saw was Rasputin the Mad Monk with Christopher Lee. That was really good too. And I think you were a fan, Corey, of like The Devil Rides Out. And
The Devil Rides Out.
Zombies.
Yeah. The Devil Rides Out, I think, is the best Hammer film. I think it's one of Christopher Lee's greatest performance. performances. It's based on a novel by Dennis Wheatley, which I picked up the other day actually because I've never read the novel. It's like this occult thing, and yeah, Plague of Zombies is good. The Reptile's kind of good. I've kind of got a soft spot for Cushing's Frankenstein films that he made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's one or two in that I think there's like 5 of them. There's like 1 or 2 that are kind of like
Mm-hmm.
but you've got the first one, which is great, and then Frankenstein Created Woman. That's a good one. And anytime he and Lee team up for like Hound of the Baskervilles and the original, like the 1959 Mummy that they did, and I think the first 2 Dracula films are the strongest of the Hammer Dracula movies. So Dracula and Brides of Dracula. But when it comes to like Dracula, what is it, AD 72 and
yeah, the worst one was the last one they did.
Yeah, when they were set in like the 70s. That's when they kind of went. But yeah, Hammer movies are great. If you haven't watched a Hammer film, which one would you recommend people start with, Eric? If they were going to go, I'm going to start with Hammer horror.
Horror of Dracula is a big one. Start with that one, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I'd agree, actually.
Hey, Ray, have you been watching any anime recently?
On and off. Like, currently not watching any anime right now, but I did finish the Castlevania anime series because I love the game series. So I watched the 4th and final season of Castlevania, if that counts as anime, even though it's produced by an American animation house. But it was fantastic. I don't know if you guys seen it, the Castlevania anime on Netflix, but
I've been meaning to watch it. I should get on that this year.
It's like if you played, it's based on the 3rd game, or rather, it starts based off the 3rd game, but incorporates elements of different games here and there as the story progresses. But I thought the 4th season, like the animation, the battle sequences progressively get more insane, and I think the 4th season just got really, really, like, you can tell they were just building up their chops, like as they were with each progressive season. I thought the 2nd season was the best one for a while, but the 4th season really was great for me. Like, I've been playing Castlevania for a long time, not recently, not the newer ones, but like the old school ones, like all the way up until Super Nintendo. But as far as the other anime, have you guys seen the Demon Slayer movie yet?
No, I want to watch the anime series first and then the movie right after when it comes out.
I've heard good things about the film. It did really well here because we came out of lockdown for a little bit and the cinemas opened up, and I think that movie went to like #1 or something. Like, it did really well here.
It's right now it's currently the #1 top grossing theatrical release in Japan. Like, it beat out Titanic. I think Titanic was #1 before that.
Wow.
I think the anime is good. It's genuinely good if you're into not even shonen anime like Dragon Ball, but it's a bit more adult than that, like as far as the level of violence and the themes that it explores. Like the main character, his family it's in a world where demons like feed on humans. It's one of those types of worlds. But this guy, his whole family gets killed by demons, save for his sister. His sister gets transformed into a demon, but then with the help of this passerby, he helps seal his sister's demonic tendencies of craving human flesh, basically. So now they just travel together, and with others, they enter like I forgot. It's been a while since I've seen the anime, so I don't remember the official terminology. But they join the official group of the Demon Slayer Corps, if you will, to hunt down these demons. So, but yeah, if you're gonna watch the movie, you have to watch the anime because it's one of those rare instances where a movie is canon in relation to the anime series. Because usually, like when they release a movie, oftentimes it'll be like just a what if or a spin-off or something like that.
Yeah,
it won't actually be canon, but this is like it's legitimately based off of manga content, which would explain some of its weird flows with its narrative, which I won't get into at all. But yeah, like if you watch the movie, you have to watch the anime first, otherwise nothing will make sense.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it as a visual spectacle, but it won't make sense at all as far as like the build up to what you're seeing.
How many seasons is the anime?
One right now, but I think they're currently
okay.
making a second one, and the first one's only 26 episodes long. So you can watch those 26 episodes, and the movie picks up right after that 26 episode. So it's a whole chain of events. So yeah, definitely recommend watching that. All right, I think I'm not sure if Demon Slayer is available on Netflix or anything outside of Japan.
I think the series is on Netflix US, but I don't know if the movies come out yet in terms of digitally.
Okay, it just came out in on home release here. Like
Okay.
it just came out like not too long ago. So I'm not sure it because I think it came on the theaters there like in January or something like that. January, February, or something like that. So who knows when we'll get a physical release? But then, but yeah, like that movie was probably one of the most beautifully animated anime movies I've seen. Period. Like you know, granted, it's not like a Ghibli movie or a Studio Chizu movie or like you know even a Yuasa movie. This is a movie episode of a TV series, but it was one of the most beautifully animated movies I've seen, especially when you go into those high octane battle sequences. I couldn't believe how well done it was. Like it was worth, I think it deserved its number one spot. Granted, I theorize there are other factors I could have attributed to its being number one. One being that there was nothing else to watch in the theaters because of COVID. And the anime was just the anime just got so high. You'll find Demon Slayer everywhere here. Like
what is the appeal of it, do you think?
Well, shonen anime and manga there's always been like a shonen manga anime of like the trend, like whatever is the trendy one, like whether it be your One Pieces or your Naruto's. I think that it's really hard to point what makes this one special. The character designs are great, and the fact that there's so many characters as you would expect in a shonen story, and also just even the TV series itself is well animated. Like surprisingly, like really high quality for a TV series. Like, I think it's also just the characters themselves, like the four main characters. The chemistry between them is absolutely like hilarious. Like, it's a blend of comedy, like when like you have your buddy comedy bickering back and forth, and just like this kind of stuff you expect from three dudes who have nothing in common and trying to get along together. It's just a lot of fun, and then the fighting sequences and the characters are really creative with the powers. So I think a lot of that has a lot to do. And plus, the marketing is just really good. Like like for example, the main character has a very very recognizable pattern that he wears on his kimono. It's like black and green checkered coat. It's a black and green checkered coat. Like it's an easy to recognize pattern, and they sell like that pattern on like face masks here too, even face masks and like handkerchiefs. You see kids wearing them. So I think because you see everyone wearing it just spreads, as one would, like when it comes to trends, right? But yeah, like my whole family over here has seen every bit of it and read every bit of the manga. I think the manga just finished, or is finishing. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was Demon Slayer. But yeah, like even my wife, who doesn't normally watch anime or read manga as of late, is obsessed with it, or was obsessed with it. But and watched the movie before I even did it at the theater. And yeah, it's that much of a hit over here. I think it's well deserved.
It seems like it's quite a big cultural event, really, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yes. I think it definitely, one of the things that sets it apart from your typical Dragon Balls and the like is just like, first of all, how beautifully it's animated, and just how creative some of these these character designs are, especially the bad guys. I really love the bad guys. Like, they're really interesting.
Because it's such a cultural phenomenon, do you think that they, and when I say they, I mean the powers that be, the money men, do you think they'll let it end? Or will it become another Dragon Ball? Or,
I wouldn't be surprised, because even Naruto, like, that story ended, but then they pulled the author into writing a continuation, like featuring Naruto's son. And I stopped after Naruto. It's
They
like the
do
story's
that.
done for
They
me.
do that all the time. Anytime
Yeah.
there's like this big like popular thing, and I feel sorry for the authors because they clearly have it. Like we all knew when Dragon Ball finished, and it's like this is clearly. It's same with like Berserk. That was a similar one where it was like this is clearly the end game, and then they just keep going because, well, money talks, I guess, and.
Well, they won't be making Berserk anymore.
No, well, that's
like,
not going to happen. I don't know what'll happen. Well, they might do that. Who knows? They might do that thing where they just get somebody to continue it because
an
they own the
assistant or
rights to
something,
it.
or something.
Yeah, who knows? Like,
yeah, it's unfortunate, but oh man.
Yeah, I saw a few big time anime this year. I saw Inuyashiki from 2017.
Ooh.
That's Corey should watch Inuyashiki. That's a good.
Okay.
You would like that one. It's like this, and I actually really like the live action adaptation they did. But it's about the story itself doesn't really do the series justice. You basically have basically aliens or alien life forms come down and possess like a teenage kid and a really old man, and they both. It's basically almost like a Superman story where they both become these two incredibly powerful individuals, and it shows how differently they use and how the powers affect them psychologically and how they use them. But it's like a mature rated like stuff, so it's like crap really goes down and happens, and the teenager's almost kind of like a sociopath, so it's really kind of interesting. What would you think of it, Ray? Have you seen that one, the anime?
I haven't seen the anime, but I've seen the live action adaptation. I love it, and I've seen the author's previous work, Gantz. Like I read the manga and watched
Gantz,
the anime.
yeah. Oh, it's the same guy that did Gantz, right?
Yeah, same Gantz, but he upped everything as far as the violence and like just the mind bending content. Like he just upped everything up by like tenfold. It's like
there's more of a craftsmanship to the story, I think, and the anime is only 11 episodes long, so you could chew through it.
Oh, that's good. So it'll be better than the Gantz anime then.
Yeah, the Gantz anime just kind of like this. It made up its ending. Like,
well, they did that thing where they got too far ahead of his when he was writing it. They were producing the anime, and they did a Game of Thrones basically. They went and continued the story, and then obviously when the manga continued, it was like, that ain't the story, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. And then the manga just went like, I mean, I don't think the anime could remotely even cover what the feature chapters of the manga had contained. I mean, Gantz was pretty close, I'd say. Gantz was pretty close in adapting that particular arc, but then what happens after that, it gets even more insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I also watched the first half of the alleged final season of Attack on Titan. And dude, that show still is like awesome. Like there's episodes in this fourth season where I was like out of my chair, like screaming at the TV screen. I'm amazed how that show has maintained its quality this long.
The second half comes out next winter or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, if they end it and it finishes strong, it's going to be one of my favorites of all time.
I think it's still one of those anime that's still like beloved here, even though Demon Slayer is like number one now. Attack on Titan and even like My Hero Academia are still like one of those other animes that get mentioned along in the same breath as far as what's popular right now, as far as long running shows are concerned. Yeah, Attack on Titan, the manga also is done, I believe. So the anime actually has an ending to base their ending off of. So there's no excuses there.
Yeah, I've actually been getting into more manga lately. I have some piling up because I'm still finishing. I'm on the last book of Isaac Asimov's Foundation novels, and I've really enjoyed those. And I like to absorb those slowly because they're kind of dense. But I got the entire Parasite manga.
Nice.
Have you read that one?
I have, yes.
So I'm really excited for that because I loved the anime and even the films were pretty good. And then I got some Junji Ito stuff because I already
Nice.
Nice.
I already read Tomie and Uzumaki and Gyo, and then I got some of his compilation booklets that they released in hardcover in the US with a lot of his short stories. So I got that to read, and then I got the huge 1,000-page Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft
Nice.
tome. There's like a ton
Yeah.
of his stuff.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. As far as like anime for me, I've been doing like slice of life stuff, which is really weird for someone like me. I think I was like, I know I like all this dark shit, but I think I need a break. I think my mind needs to like just not be in that dark abyss. So I watched Barakamon.
Hmm.
Do you guys know
I
that
don't know
one
that.
about the
I
guy
don't know
that's
that one.
he's a calligrapher?
No.
He's like it's like this guy. He's like I don't know he's how old he's meant to be. I think he's like early 20s and he does calligraphy and he does like this calligraphy competition and he punches a judge in the face and then he gets exiled from the community and he goes and lives on an island where his father grew up. And that's it. And he like hangs out with the local kids and kind of finds himself and realizes that he's a bit of a douche and he just stops with the calligraphy for a while and then gets back into it and it's like a 12 episode thing and I really liked it. And there was another one I watched that was on Amazon Prime called The Great Passage, which was about a similar which was just
I saw
about
the
a
live
guy.
action film for that.
Yeah, I don't know what the live. I think it's based on a novel. I think they're both based on a novel, but the anime was just about a guy going to work in this small group where they were creating a dictionary. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of like random stuff like that because it's like when you're watching, the heavy like overly extreme violent stuff, you kind of need something to like mellow out a
Mm-hmm.
bit. And I've been finding these kind of slice of life things they've also been helping with my mental health.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they really do. They really help with that side of things because they're not bad. It's not like you turn your brain off type stuff because there's stuff going on, but it's deep stuff. Because there are slice of life things that I have watched and I've stopped after like 10 minutes because I've gone, ugh, this is too sappy. Another one I watched and I started watching it and I didn't know what it was. But then I watched it all and then I watched I know they call it a film, but it's like 58 minutes long, so it's not really a film. I watched Given.
Hmm.
You guys know Given?
No.
I started watching it because I was looking for like slice of life stuff, and this one came up on a list, and I was like, it's about a couple of teenage guys and a couple like college guys that start a rock band, and I'm like, well, as somebody who has been in rock bands and was a teenager in a rock band, that kind of appeals to me. And it's a gay show. They're all gay. And there's all this gay subtext, but I didn't realize until like episode 3 because that's how well it was done. And I was like, it was so compelling that I ended up watching the entire thing. And then they released they called it a movie, like they did with that Goblin, what was it, Goblin Slayer thing, where they're like 60 minutes long. And it's like, I don't really think that's a movie, guys, but they sell it as a film. But I don't know if they're doing another. They did that thing where the movie didn't really complete the story. It seems like there needs to be at least another season, but I really enjoyed that as well, even though it wasn't really. It's like I'm open-minded. I'll watch stuff like that, but it was handled. I think if it was done like really like in your face or really on the nose, you know how it's really hard to get that balance because in Japanese cinema historically they haven't really handled gay characters all that well.
Mm-mm.
They've all 99% of the time, from what I've seen, they've always been stereotypes and over the top stereotypes. And then if this thing was made in the States or anywhere else in the West, it would be pushing like an agenda down your throat, where this was just like, we're making a movie about guys that are in a band and some of them just happen to be gay. Which is like, okay. But for I don't know if this is going to sound bad, but for a Japanese product, it was handled really well. And it's not something I've seen come from Japan, because anytime I've seen like gay representation in a Japanese movie, it's always like, oh, you know what I mean? It's never really handled well.
I think.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go, Ray.
Oh, sorry. Like I think whenever I mean, as Corey said, like it's either probably handled in a stereotypical fashion or done for the sake of, you know, fangirls who are into those kinds of stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably falls into one of those two categories when it comes to these kinds of stories, right?
Yeah, but this was like right down the middle, which was really good. I was impressed by it. And they clearly had like because they used the when they were like in the jam room and they were, you know, on stage or they were playing like Fender guitars and like Gibson guitars. And I don't mean they were just drawn like that. They actually had the logos on them. And like the amps were like Marshall amps. So they clearly had like support from those companies, because Fender and Gibson, the two biggest guitar companies in history, don't just let you use their logo for no good reason. So yeah, that kind of stood out to me as well. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Erik? You were going to
I'm looking this up now. I think one of Miike's most obscure films is a film called Blues Harp, and it was made in '98, and it was about kind of like a jazz kind of band and Yakuza film together, and it had a gay subtext to it that was really nicely done. So it's really kind of hard to find that movie, but if anybody's interested, I would recommend that. It's actually a solid flick. Oh, and the other anime that I know Corey's seen that I watched is, I think it was Masaki Yuasa's Get Your Hands Off of Azokin or something it's called. That was awesome. A neat one. That was excellent.
Yeah. Anything with that guy's name on it, I will watch. I watched Night is Short, Walk On Girl the other night, actually, because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I realized that the other day. That's kind of like my safe space movie. Anytime I like feel bad or I'm just like, I'm feeling a bit low or something, I put that on and I'm just like transported into that night. You know, I'm there with those weird and quirky characters going out on a night drinking in Kyoto. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, that's how I am with the director of Swing Girls in Woodjob.
Yeah.
Anything that guy directs. And his new one that I saw last year, I think Ray's seen this one, the one with the girl who breaks out in song and dance. That was really good too. That was a fun movie.
That was very fun. Yeah, dancing.
And the other one's Water Boys, right?
Yeah.
Water Boys.
Yeah.
Swing
Girls is my favorite. Swing Girls and Woodjob are my favorites.
Yeah.
Woodjob just has a really unfortunate name. Great film though, just has a very unfortunate name. I don't know if it's a translation thing or.
No, it's
what is it?
It's just a play on words, because like they do that a lot here. They'll just they have their own idea on what good wordplay is here. Like it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So like that's it. That's it.
But you ever see
like underlying.
You see those Japanese people with the English shirts, and a lot of times the shirts don't make a whole lot of sense with the grammar. So you never know what type of thing they're going to come up with.
Yeah, I don't know how they get the ideas from it, but I guess in contrast, like us Westerners, sometimes we'll get like tattoos with Chinese characters that don't even care what it means. Like they just want to have like their zodiac sign or something like that.
Yeah. Well, there was that big craze. I don't know. Well, it happened here. I remember in like, it would have been like early 2000s, and I remember working. I used to like this. Like I would have been like 17 at the time or something. It would have been like 2000, 2001. And one of my friends that I worked with, she just finished her undergrad degree, and I think it was in Japanese. And there was this big fad in the early 2000s in Australia where people would get Japanese characters tattooed on them.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought it was hilarious. She's like a native level speaker these days. She actually lives in Japan, has like a master's degree, and like, yeah, like it's crazy like how good she is with Japanese. But it's funny. She'd be like, go up to people and be like, I like your tattoo. Why did you get refrigerator tattooed on your arm? Because that's what that means. Like things like that. Because all it takes like is the slightest like, and that's the thing. These people like, and this is early days, early 2000s. Like internet wasn't like it is today, so people would randomly find like some scan or something from the internet. Then they go into like a tattoo artist doesn't know how to, because what is it, kanji? What are there's like a bunch of different ones, right?
Yeah,
like,
there's 4 different, well, technically 3, but technically 4. There's kanji as the characters imported from China. Then there's hiragana and katakana.
That's right.
And then there's Roman characters, and they use all 4 like situationally. So yeah.
So if you go into a tattoo parlor, the tattooist doesn't really have any idea what the hell you want. So they're like, so it's funny. It was always funny going out anywhere with her, because there was this, she'd just see these tattoos on people, and very rarely did they actually mean what the person wanted them to say.
Like, it means strong spirit. No, it means fish.
Yeah. It means with one person, it was like, it means prostitute.
Oh no.
Or something like that. Yeah.
It's kind of like when I first time I went to Japan, I wanted to buy some movies. So I go into a thing, it says DVD on it. But there were Japanese characters around, Japanese character DVD. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll go in here and get a DVD. And you go down the stairs 2 flights, you get that weird smell. You turn the corner, the whole room is pink boxes. And the dude looked up at me, and I'm like, see ya.
I'm not meant to be here. I had a similar experience when the first time I went to Tokyo. And I was in like I think I accidentally walked into a red light district. I went into like some weird adult bookstore, and I was like, okay, there's too many tentacles here for me. Bye, guys.
It's funny, even in like a regular store, you'll see like adult products right next, like sometimes literally right next to products they sell for like kids. So like it happens more often than you would think. But yeah.
Well, even in like the 7-Elevens over there, like on the magazine rack, they'll have like, I know they blur out stuff when it comes to the adult magazines and things, but they'll be like a Pokemon magazine next to like a like basically Japanese version of Playboy or whatever, and you're like, and it comes with like they come with like DVDs and stuff. I know, because I bought some of them. For joke gifts, not for myself. I'm not gonna watch porn that's all blurry. What's the point?
It's so funny how it's like, I don't know, that's remnants of an old law that they just, there's a lot of those kinds of things here where they're like, there's like, they do things because it's an old law that hasn't been amended, and they just don't care to amend it
in like 1,000 years or something.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Anything else you want to cover, Eric? Or are we about ready to wrap things up?
Yeah, I think I covered some of my main.
Yeah, I think I covered everything that I thought I'd want to talk about.
I want to talk about some movies that are coming up that I'm really looking forward to in the theaters.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Well, other than Great Yokai War, the next, it's called Guardians apparently. Great Yokai War Guardians.
Okay.
Apparently. This, I guess this anime is all right, but the live action seems all right. Tokyo Revengers. Have you heard of Tokyo Revengers?
No, I've not.
It's about this dude he's like in his 20s or something like that, and he almost gets into a train accident. Think of it like the beginning of Gantz, where he slips on the tracks or something like that. But then he
Right.
gets
Yeah.
transported into the body of his high school self. Like he gets time slipped. He gets into the time slip into his high school body, right? He doesn't know what happens. He knows he's reliving his life. Now, in the future, his girlfriend has passed away, but then he sees this as an opportunity to prevent her death from happening. The thing is that by transporting back in the past, he gets to relive his past as a thug, as a gangster, as a Yankee. So you get that kind of gangster comedy, and like compared to his present day form, where he's just a laid back dude. He's grown up, he's over it. But then he gets to relive his years of teenage angst all over again. But he tries to put on that front again, because he has this personality of his adult self, and he tries to save his girlfriend, because every time he goes back, it has a subtle effects on his future. So it's one of those kinds of stories.
Okay.
Currently in the theater right now is The Fable Part 2. I don't know if you guys have seen the first Fable movie with
Junichi Okada.
Kanajuchi.
I love that guy.
The first movie was a lot of fun. The second one just came on the theater last month. I probably won't watch it, but just because I don't have the time to watch it, but it's definitely a movie that's been on my radar. And from, I want to say, this coming weekend is the next movie by Hosoda Mamoru, the director of Summer Wars and Wolf Children. No, it's called Bell. I think that's the English title, Bell.
Yeah, Bell's the English title. Yeah.
Yeah. It has a lot of Summer War vibes to it. So I think he's just returning to like what made him a big name. Because I think after Summer Wars, that's what really made him know. But just I don't know anything else other than the trailers, but getting a whole lot of Summer War vibes, because it takes place in the online world. There's a girl who's like, she has this persona online called Belle, and I don't know anything else beyond that other than it's the new Hosoda movie. And I don't know if you guys have seen Blood of Wolves. It was like a gangster movie from a couple years back, starring Yakusho Koji and Matsusaka Tori. They're coming out with a sequel in August.
Oh wow!
It's called Blood of Wolves Level 2. I don't know what the English title is going to be called, but it looks like Matsuzaka has turned on full bad cop, and that's going to be interesting to see. And those are the movies right now that I can recall that I'm excited to see that they're coming out soon. Yeah.
Nice. I'll definitely check a few of those out.
I can't think of anything coming out like in Australia that I'm. Oh, actually, the Green Knight. That's the thing that's like on the top of my list this year. The Dev Patel. Have you guys seen the trailer for that? It's like this medieval.
No,
you should watch the trailer. It looks great. It's like this
fantasy
Patel, thing. Right? Yeah, Dev Patel plays like a knight, and I know Joel Edgerton's in it. The guy that was in the Witch, the Gareth, what is it? Gareth, what's his name? Eggers. The guy that did The Lighthouse, his first film. The guy that played the dad in The Witch. I think he plays the Green Knight in the actual movie. I don't know. I've just seen the trailer, and it's very whimsical. There's a lot going on there. I would highly recommend checking it. And again, it's an A24 film. If it's got the A24 logo, you can pretty much be guaranteed quality with that. So that's all I'm really looking forward to.
I also want to see Terrifier Part 2 with the killer clown. The first Terrifier is like this low budget horror flick, and the gore scenes are just insane. So and he creeps me out, man. Check out, just Google it at some point. The Terrifier.
I know what you're talking. It's like he's got like the white face with the black.
Dude creeps me out, man. So yeah, I want to see the second one this October, hopefully.
We might get the next Halloween this October as well.
The trailer looked better than I thought, but still,
I thought, with the 2018 Halloween?
Yeah, I didn't really like it.
No, I was like, it's fine.
I
like the soundtrack was good. That was the best part of it, because that's what John Carpenter did.
I want the director of Mandy to direct a Friday the 13th movie. That's what I want.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That's what I want. Tons of gore. Tell the MPAA to go screw themselves finally for Friday the 13th and have it be beautifully shot. That's what I want.
Yeah,
That'll never happen. That's
probably not. But those Friday the 13th films, they're not all very good, though, are they? Like,
I mean, they've grown on me over time, just as I've kind of come to terms with what they are.
Yeah.
If you compare the violence in those to just about Italian films, Hong Kong films, Korean
I know, right?
films, I mean, they don't come correct with the violence at all.
Not at all.
But
you know, Jason X. Jason in space. What a movie Jason X is. At least that might be one of my favorites of the Friday the 13th, because it knows exactly what it is.
It's better than Hellraiser in space, that's for sure. That movie was terrible.
True. And it has, you know, to kind of round out our discussion, which started with the Cronenberg. Cronenberg is in Jason X.
Oh,
David Cronenberg.
That's right.
Everyone forgets that. David fucking Cronenberg is in Jason X. Be like Martin Scorsese showing up in, I don't know,
Leprechaun.
Yeah, Leprechaun 7.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Well, thanks for coming on, fellas. We should do this a little bit more often.
We probably should, yeah.
Yeah, because it's always good just to hang out and just talk about whatever we've seen or done lately. And yeah, we'll keep in touch as usual. We always keep in touch on our little social media things, but we'll do another one of these. Maybe we'll talk about Corey's movie after it's done.
Yeah, maybe after it's done, or even like, I don't know, probably not during filming, because I think we're filming for like 12 days, but they're long days. They're not short days.
Post-production's probably going to take a while too, huh?
Yeah, probably. But I'm sure I'll be able to come on afterwards and talk about my experience and stuff. And then I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. The beauty of it is because it's so independent, we don't have a release date. It's just finished when it's finished. But we've already got a lot of the soundtrack done, which is good. Because we wanted to do. There's a few directors that actually, I think Christopher Nolan does it. He's the one that pops into my head straight away. There's a lot of directors, like they get their composer, they tell them the idea for the movie, or they give them the script and they tell the composer to write stuff. And then they play the soundtrack for the actor. That's what Todd Phillips did for the Joker as well. Yeah. Okay. So I know Nolan does it for most of his movies, and Todd Phillips did it for Joker. And we were like, maybe we should try that, because you use the music to kind of elevate the actor, or kind of give the actor something to act with, you know. So we're doing that as well. So another thing kind of outside of the box.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was lovely seeing you guys again.
Yeah.
Nice to see that you're well, and you don't have COVID, so that's something.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. But hope y'all continue to keep safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Hope everyone that's watching, I hope you all stay safe, and you know, if you can get the vaccine, then get that vaccine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, have a nice evening, gentlemen. We will see you soon.
Peace. Thanks for having me.
See you guys.
See you next time, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.